Hey folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel, The Ethereal Entertainer. My name is Tatiana and today we will be doing astrological readings with our tarot and oracle cards for the month of February. We are in the new year and we're going to be starting off with the True Heart Tarot deck with beautiful depictions in this deck. I got this off of Amazon if you're interested in picking this one up for yourself. Definitely beginner friendly and I love the pamphlet that comes with it. We also have the oracle deck called the Rose Oracle. This one is available on Amazon as well, and I love the depictions in this too. Super beautiful. If you feel drawn to this deck, I highly advise that you pick that up too. I love to stack my decks, so I like to do tarot and oracle together. I feel it provides a comprehensive reading for myself and for others. So we're going to get into the readings for each astrological sign. Let's get started. Alright, so we're going to get into your sun placement card, Gemini. We have the Ten of Swords in the reversal position. As scary as this card may look, this is actually a good card. So the Ten of Swords has to do with failure, with succumbing to our circumstances, exhaustion. Maybe you feel betrayed or maybe you feel stabbed in the back. And it essentially is displayed in this depiction, but when it's in the reversal position, this has to do with coming out on top of these type of circumstances. So maybe you experienced a recent betrayal or a recent situation with your career life or with romantic or some type of relationship where things were not in optimal circumstance for you and you triumphed. You were able to overcome it. And you were able to see yourself to the healing aspect of things. And that's where you are right now. If you're not there now, you're going to be very soon. So you may have been struggling for a while with, something with a relationship or with your career or with a project that you're working on. The card in this position is saying that your struggle is soon coming to an end. It's soon to be resolved. And kudos to you because you were able to stick it through. And it's really hard to do that, right? Because it's so easy to want to give up when circumstances are ridiculously hard. But this card is showing that that's not what you do here. You stick it through to the end and you see it through and you are able to achieve that healing and to essentially get yourself to the next step in the process, where you get past the pain, you get past the hurt, you get past the disappointment, the stabbing in the back, the betrayal, the perceived failure. You get through this, and you should see this as a good omen, because it is. It most definitely is. And honestly, good for you. So moving on to your moon placement card, Gemini, we have the Princess of Cups, or the Page of Cups, in the reversal position. So in the upright position, we're looking at a card that has to do with, being somewhat naive, but in a good way. It's a little foolish, so to speak, but having to do with our emotions, right? You're kind of willing to put your heart out there. You're willing to put your feelings or your heart on the line. You're willing to take a risk because you have some idea of what that could look like and benefit for you. But in the reversal position, this may be, you're not quite feeling as confident about putting your heart out there. You're not feeling quite as confident about your emotional placement in the situation you're in right now. You may be feeling very vulnerable, or you may be acting in a way, or somebody around you in your life is acting in a way that's honestly quite immature. So maybe you have been trying to, put yourself in a emotional place of vulnerability with someone, and it's not being matched or met in the way that you would like, right? So this person is taking your vulnerability for granted. You know, they may be acting immaturely towards you. Maybe you're trying to talk and open up to this person and they're just not being very open and communicative with you. Or you may be this person. This person may be trying to talk to you. This person may be trying to resolve things with you, and you aren't very open and receptive. And this is a card where it's saying, hey, you know, maybe reflect on how you or that significant person in your life is acting right now, and understand that if it's you can do something about your behavior to help better your circumstances to get the results that you want and flip this card in the upright position. Or if it's another person, you can let them know that they're acting this way, and hopefully they'll address the situation, or they won't. And you have to be willing to understand that in that predicament, in that situation, there's not really anything you can do. You can't make them act a way that's going to be mature, that's going to be, you know, making you feel secure and safe with being vulnerable with them in an emotional way. And in that regard, you have to decide, is it worth sticking around, or do you need to walk away? So this is a card where it's telling you to take a step back and look at the way that everyone is acting and interacting in the situation that you're trying to resolve, and act accordingly. You know, if you know that you're being the immature person, hey, this may not sound very nice, but sometimes we gotta grow up. You know what I mean? So, and we have to be honest with ourselves about that. And if it's another individual or person that you're dealing with who's being immature, or who is trying to, maybe they're not necessarily being immature, but they're just running away from the situation. You know, they don't want to have the conversation. They don't want to talk to you. They're not open and receptive like you are trying to be with them. Then you have to understand that you can't force that person to be this way, but you can, if they're willing to listen, let them know how their actions are affecting you and your ability to, you know, do anything for that relationship, right? You're trying to resolve it, but it's kind of hard to do that when this other person is not really being a team player with you. All right, so we're going to move on to your rising placement card, or your ascending. We have the 8 of Swords. So this is a kind of a, it's an obscure looking card, right? It's kind of like, oh, this person looks trapped. This person looks like they're tied down. But if you look closely, this individual is tied down by their hair, right? And they're bound, but they also have the ability to free themselves. This card is really about shedding light on our mindset and our perception of our circumstances. So you may be feeling victimized, you may be feeling trapped, you may be feeling between a rock and a hard place, but your mindset is where the change needs to happen so that you can actually see the solutions for yourself. There's something that you can do about it. It's just that your mindset is coming at the situation wrong. And sometimes we do need a fresh perspective or a shift in perspective from the outside. Maybe sometimes we need to be told, like, hey, we're kind of being a negative Nancy right now. Try to see the brighter side of the things. Try to be more optimistic. And we don't need to hear that all the time. This is not one of those things where it's like you need to be like, oh, well, have you tried going outside? This is not one of those things. But mindset is important, and mindset does play a role in how we perceive ourselves, the way that we interact with other people, and the way that we walk through life. Sometimes we do have to take a step back and adjust our perception and adjust the way that we see things so that we can actually see solutions. So this may look like having a conversation with someone who you know is experienced in whatever it is that you're dealing with right now. You know, maybe it's a therapist, maybe it's your best friend, maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your dad. But, you know, talk with someone who can give you a clear perspective and give you a different perception that you can use and apply to get yourself out of this situation. Because there's a way out. That's what the card is about. It looks scary, it looks dark, it looks kind of, you know, sketchy, but the card is not a dark card. You see the background is a light background. There's a way out. There's a way to figure it out. You just have to be willing to challenge yourself and challenge your mindset to see a way out and then find your way out. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and read the oracle card for your pull. We have open. I'm going to go ahead and just read the description in the booklet and the soul inquiry for you. Say yes, expand through the extremes, trust life. This is probably one of the biggest challenges of life, keeping your heart open through the extremes. No one is immune to the highs and lows of the human experience, from the ecstasy to the agony, the joy to the grief, the love to the loss. We can't bypass the difficult parts of being human if we want to truly experience the bliss. And if you close your heart off to the grief, you won't be able to fully experience the joy. The rose teaches us this, season after season. She knows that if she doesn't surrender to each of the seasons, come summer she won't be able to bloom. Birth teaches us this too. The safer the mother feels, the more she can open. Living and dying with our heart open is truly a courageous act, as a life well lived is full of losses and tragedies as well as great love, triumphs, and adventures. When we're going through difficult times, when we most want to separate, the healing is often found in connection, not separation. When we close our heart and shut down because the pain is too much, we often find ourselves more separate than before. The rose shows us how to open to the world, no matter what the day brings. This card is here to encourage you to say yes to life, to expand through the extremes, and to put your 2 feet wholly and completely in. Soul inquiry. How can you say yes to life? I love this oracle card. I love every time I pull it just because it's a great reminder that we can't live our life in total and complete apprehension and being closed off. There is risk that comes with the reward of living a fulfilling life, and that's just what it is. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. I hope that you found this reading to be insightful for you and that February is a good month for you. Please hit that notification bell and subscribe so that we can do this all again next month, and I hope to see you back really soon. Bye!